Honestly, digitizing it can be very simple, but just like the word being thrown out there is just, it sounds so intimidating, right?
Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and in this episode, I'm talking to Shelly from Letters by Shells, who has a brand new book out, and as part of that is coming on here to do a little lesson all about digitizing your lettering. And I'm super excited for her to show you guys this lesson because I get this question all the time. People are so overwhelmed by digitizing, and it doesn't have to be that scary. So Shelly's walking us through all of her tips and tricks for digitizing, and I can't wait for you to see it. One thing I want to mention right before we jump in, and we talk about this a few times in the video too, is that Shelly is going to do a giveaway for her book. And so if you're watching this, just right away, leave a comment down below and you'll be entered to win her book. But without further ado, let's jump right into the lesson. Shelly, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Becca. I'm so excited.
So for those people watching who don't know, Shelly has been on before and she did a lesson for us on how to do like metallic, how do we even explain that? Metallic
watercolor lettering.
Yeah.
And basically using those metallic ink pods like this. I have a picture. Oh, I have one.
Of course you do, right on your desk.
Yeah.
So Shelly has been on before and she did that lesson for us. So I'll link to that up here. But today we're talking about something completely different, which I'm really excited to talk to you about because it's all related to your new book.
Yeah.
And so we'll get to that in a second, but can you tell us a little bit for people who like might not know you at all, somehow magically, who you are, what you do, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, thank you again. So I'm Shelly. I'm also the artist behind Letters by Shells, and my work is like basically just focused on spreading love and positivity through my artwork. So if you take a look at my Instagram feed, you'll see a lot of my work being hand lettering designs or like watercolor pieces. But as long as like for me, it's colorful and it basically presents that message of positivity and spreading love. That's all that I'm pretty much all about. I started this whole journey back in 2015 as a way to like just de-stress from work. I used to work full-time in insurance, and that was a lot. So for me, coming home and always thinking about work was just not a normal thing, and picking up this hobby, and it just flourished into something so incredible that I never thought was possible. I just never thought that I could be so involved and in love with something. And I'm so glad that I found like basically how to do calligraphy and how to do watercolors, because then what I ended up doing, and the reason why I took on this like beautiful craft, is I wanted to decorate my cubicle at work. I wanted to like decorate the cubicle and spread like positive vibes, because work was just so draining and it was just a lot to take in. But I didn't realize what was going to lead up to that. I ended up losing my job, and pursuing this full time was a journey. But I'm so grateful and happy that I'm here and doing this.
I have two things to say about that. First of all, is you made an unintentional pun, which I really appreciated. Was you said that you didn't. It flourished into something new, which is a calligraphy pun. My favorite. But also just that like that story is so cool, and how like so many of us accidentally come across all of this. I had kind of the same kind of thing, and I think that's encouraging for a lot of people who are listening. So I love that. And so you've done a lot of big things with your lettering career so far, even in this short amount of time. But one of the biggest, newest ones is your book. So can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and like, you know, what the latest scoop is on it, what it's about and all that stuff for people?
Totally. Yes. I am so excited about this whole book. Honestly, and I'll be honest, like I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I said yes to this book opportunity, but I'm glad that it's here and it's done. And it was such a wonderful experience because I learned a lot from it. So there is a lot of changes that happened throughout the beginning stages, but what it is now is it talks about brush lettering, digitizing, and going into the whole iPad lettering. But I also have a whole chapter dedicated to like iPad lettering projects. So basically what it looks like to make like cards and prints and just like a lot of fun different things on the iPad. Yeah.
And digitizing, which is like
Digitizing.
the theme for today.
Yes, and digitizing, oh my gosh, like I'm so glad I covered it, just because when I first started lettering, I didn't know how to, like, I had no idea how to do that. And I was like, everyone keeps talking about digitizing. What is that? Like, and like, I didn't want to ask anyone because then I like, but then I realized that I didn't even have the right program. So I was like, oh gosh, I'm embarrassed now. But I'm glad that I was able to cover it just because it was such a scary thing for me to actually get started with.
It's sort of like you said, it's something that people are embarrassed to ask about because it
It
seems like
seems
it's
so
something you
simple.
should just know,
Yeah.
but so many people don't know how to do it, and it's actually really not all that complicated. So I'm super excited for you to just do this lesson and show everybody how to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's going
Thank
to be like
you.
enlightening for people, and then people don't have to feel so embarrassed to ask about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, totally.
but before I take my face off here and let you do your lesson, I just want to mention to
Yeah,
people one more thing about your book is that you agreed to do a giveaway for it
I
during
did.
this
That's so
call.
fun for a giveaway.
So
Yeah.
if you're watching this video, leave us a comment down below. Say whatever you want. Just leave a comment and you'll be entered in a draw to
Mhm.
win Shelly's book. Other than that, I think I'm just going to take my face off here and let you get into digitizing
Okay, I
because
love it.
I
It's
can't
gonna
wait.
be, yeah, I will show tons of good stuff. So I'm excited and let's get started.
Okay.
So the first process I'm going to be showing how to digitize is basically using my iPad, and then I'm going to be also hand lettering the same word as well, so you can kind of see that contrast. But first, let's go ahead and now hand letter using the iPad first. So I'm gonna go ahead and just letter the word happy. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and save this. And the way I save my artwork and bring it into my computer is either, saving it and then emailing it to myself, or if you have Apple to Apple products, you can airdrop it, of course. So that's my piece for the lettering on the iPad. Okay, so now the second part that I'll be using would be just blank white sheet of paper along with a black brush pen. So I'm gonna letter the same word happy. And the reason why we want to make sure that we're using a black brush pen along with white paper is just because of the contrast. It's nice and smooth. And we want to make sure that that's like the only focus and it just really pops out. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of this using my iPhone. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try my best to capture only the artwork area. And when you take a quick photo, go ahead and click edit on your phone. And now I'm gonna go ahead and basically crop this area into, just to make sure that only the artwork is really captured. And now I'm gonna go to the settings and really just increase the brightness of this and also increase my contrast. That's pretty much it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And now the next step is basically bringing this into your computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and now I have Illustrator open and I'm gonna import the image or the artwork piece that we were working on the iPad first. Let's just drag it in. So using Illustrator, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you my process, which is it's just a very simple way of digitizing it and all that good stuff. So a couple of things to note why digitizing is so important. It's just because for me, I'm super lazy and I don't want to rewrite the same thing over and over again. So if I were to write it once and just kind of have the artwork saved, for me, that would save me a lot of time. Along with, let's say, and it's just because I've been here before and I've experienced it. I wanted to letter something and I did, and I just wanted it to be printed, not realizing how that would be affected with the artwork. Basically, I wanted it to be printed in a larger format, and I just noticed that it kind of just ruined the quality, I guess, of the artwork wasn't the same, just because I knew that when I lettered it initially, there was no vector involved. I didn't even think about that. So vectoring kind of it really just does help in terms of printing it on a larger scale and making sure that it's not going to be blurry if it's like blown up, and the quality basically stays the same. So after I import that image to Illustrator, I just like dragged it in as you saw. I'm gonna go ahead and now go to the image trace option. And if you like select these, basically there's like different techniques. Usually I do like the high fidelity photo if it's for like watercolor work, but since today's just like the lettering, let's go ahead and just click on that image trace. So click on it and it's going to do its thing, and now it kind of just like it basically captured the lettering, and now we're going to go ahead and finalize it and just click expand here. Awesome. So basically you'll see that there's two different colors now. Like you'll see that there's the original text behind along with the now traced lettering. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click on right hand click and ungroup them, and I'm going to go ahead now, click out of it, and basically click the box back and delete it. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted it to be like a nice transparent background, so now there's no like additional white background behind it. However, now we just gotta delete what's inside of these things. So I'll go ahead and kind of give an idea like why I'm doing that. Let's say I want to do like an orange background. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and draw this background. It's not orange. The gray would be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and basically just draw a nice box so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna now bring this back, and basically if you weren't like if you don't delete inside of the letters, it's just gonna show as a white background. So now that I ungrouped everything, I'm gonna go ahead and just go back in and delete all the inside areas. Just like that. And now whatever background you use, you can kind of like see it just kind of blends like nicely into it. But this is basically my way of digitizing your lettering, and if I were to like zoom in or print it on a larger scale, it should print just as clear and good. So that's pretty much how I digitize using Illustrator. It's like super straightforward, but I get it. It's hard though, because it's like things that I didn't understand and I couldn't figure out in the beginning. So basically, just gonna resize it, and there you go. So now the reason vectoring and like digitizing is amazing is because no matter how many times I like it's like basically stretch it out and like make it smaller, it's not going to ruin the quality of it. So there you have it with that. So now I'm like super excited. We're gonna go ahead and now work on that digitizing process using Silhouette Studio. Even though I love Illustrator, I know that that's something I did not want to get into till like a couple years after I decided to do lettering. So I totally get it. So Silhouette Studio was like a lifesaver for me because it was just really simple to understand and just really straight to the point as well, and it also being a free program. So I'm gonna go ahead and just imported it, and I just really just dragged it into the program itself. So now I'm gonna go ahead and have that, and you'll see that Silhouette Studio has different like functions here. So I'm gonna go to the tracing options right here, and we're gonna go ahead and click on now select trace area, and basically highlight the area that you're hoping to only just capture. And now we're going to turn off high pass filter, and now the entire thing should be really solid. But the main importance about using this feature is definitely making sure that you're using a black brush pen, so that way the contrast is really nice. And afterwards, let's go ahead and click on trace, and now I'm going to go ahead and just click on the background, and it should delete now just nicely. So you'll see that now the text it's digitized in its own way. So it's like it's pretty cool, because then this is like perfect, to do like vinyls along with like printing purposes. Like it comes out super clear, and it worked the exact same way for myself. And so then with Silhouette Studio, just keep in mind, right now I'm using like that 12 by 12 size, but you can always make it into like a paper size as well. So let me see. Yeah, just using your design page settings, you can like make sure that's 8.5 by 11. Oh my gosh, okay. 8.5 by 11, and basically you'll see that it's like a nice box area. So you just kind of fit your text however you'd like. And there, awesome. So that's pretty much how you digitize it as well, and you can also recolor it. Let me see, it's going to be right here, and line color, and let's go ahead and fill it in. Fill color, and if you kind of see it, it should be like really just like smooth, and you should be able to use it the exact same way like if you were to like print this out on a larger scale. It should be super clear. One thing to keep in mind about Silhouette Studio also is that, let's say there's like certain sections, and this is like the same thing for Illustrator as well. If there's like certain sections that you're not really happy about, you can always click on this button right here and really just zoom into like the areas that you want to smooth out. And you're just going to go ahead and basically click on this area. Let's see if we were to basically make it flat, how that will look like. And that kind of like smooths everything out. Let's see if I were to now focus on this area. Yeah, so then it just, you can do like, yeah, like basically, there might be some areas that you have to like kind of like really focus at, but you kind of like see how you can fix certain areas. But for me, I do like the beauty of how like it was captured as well, so I kind of just let it be and use that. But if there's like super like extreme areas where you're like, oh no, I need to fix that, this is like perfect to kind of like look into those problem areas. And basically this is going to be the exact same way if I were to had brought this image over into Illustrator as well. It's just because with brush pens, it's not like, not everything is being smoothed out, just like if you're like learning on the iPad. That's pretty much the reason why for it. Okay, and you just kind of have to like be patient with the process and really see how you can work on those areas. There you have it. So really, using Silhouette Studio is so amazing along with using Illustrator. Like, they both work great, but it's just really your preference and what you do prefer.
Dude, I love how easy you just made that seem for people. Like, it's craziness.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. You're so kind. I love you. No, honestly, digitizing is, it can be very simple, but it's just like the word being thrown out there is just, it sounds so intimidating, right?
Well, and I think that most people just assume that you need to use Illustrator, which is like super overwhelming.
Yeah.
As soon as you open up Illustrator, if you've never done anything like that before, you're like, I have
Yeah.
no clue. And there's no button that just says like digitize.
How to
It's like
do
a
it.
million steps. Yeah.
There's no button, and Illustrator, it's a powerful program. I didn't realize how many things you can actually do on it. It's not just digitizing. And so that program itself, I was like, what like, it just seems so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
So using like the Silhouette program is going to be a total hack for people. I think that that's going to make a huge difference. And just like, I love that we've now opened this door for people, because once you learn how to digitize your stuff, you can do so many more things with it apart from just like having it on paper. And so
Totally.
I can't wait to see what people come up with. So just before we hop off though, Shelly, can you tell people where they can find you and maybe like if there's anything exciting and new coming up in your world?
Oh yeah, totally. So my book can be found on Amazon. So just look up Letters by Shells or Shelly Kim. But please do find me on Instagram. I'm also known as Letters by Shells. My website is lettersbyshells.com, and it'll kind of give you like all the upcoming events and inside scoop. And I basically also do workshops. So I'll be teaching a handful of like lettering workshops this month, and it's going to be like my book tour edition workshops. I'm excited because this weekend, literally, I'm going to be in Texas and teaching a whole like lettering workshop series in Austin. So come
So
out if you
exciting.
can.
Yeah. So if you're watching this live, you can definitely check that out. And if you're watching it anytime in the future, when this has been out for a while, still go check out Shelly's workshops, because you're always teaching them. Like, it's not exclusive to this month or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, like I am based in Los Angeles, so a lot of my workshops are in SoCal, but watch out, I'll be traveling again this year and next year just because part of the whole book tour. So we'll see.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Shelly, for coming on. And I'm sure that you will be back again someday, but
I'm
can't wait for
excited.
people to see this one.
Thank you so much. Bye, Becca. I
Okay,
appreciate
bye.
you.